So this is Operating Systems Overview and Analysis. My name is Alex Guevara. This is for IST 301. Most normal operating systems are the Windows arrangement, Mac operating system X, and Linux. Um, these operating systems associate with the internet and utilize security highlights that are one of a kind to every system. In correlation with will be made for every operating system convenience and security. These three operating systems have been picked on account of their uh, Microsoft Windows is the most mainstream operating system took after by Mac's operating system in Linux. Um, the For the Windows control panel, the Windows control panel is an administrative tool that is for the Windows operating system that permits the end clients to change the settings and oversee assignments inside of the operating system. In addition to other things, end clients can utilize the control panel to investigate issues, reinforce the PC, see the PC's system status, pick and share choices, see all the printers and everything else, and deal with the client count, alter the screen determination, and see changes, and be able to change the desktop background, which is key. So for the security settings for files, you can set security permissions on files and folders. These permissions grant or deny access to files and folders. File permissions include full control, modify, read, execute, read, and write. Folder permissions include full control, modify, read, execute, list folder, contents, read, and write. Anytime you work with a file and folder permissions, you should keep in mind that read is the only permission needed to run scripts. Execute permission doesn't really matter. Read access is required to access a shortcut and its target. Giving a user permission to write to a file but not to delete it doesn't prevent the user from deleting the file's contents already. The user can still delete the contents within it. If a user has full control over a folder, the user can delete files regardless of the permission of the files. For the system performance monitor, you can utilize the Windows Performance Monitor um, to look to see how programs are running on your PC to make sure they're executing correctly, both continuously or just by gathering log information to look at later on. Also, it's interesting because it gives you a diagram to see that what empowers your PC and what's running. You can make custom perspectives in the performance monitor that can also be treated as data collector settings for use, execution, and logging highlights. For Windows file system, any PC file is put away on a capacity with a given limit. As a matter of fact, every capacity is straight space for reading or both reading and composing digital data. For every byte of data in the capacity, it has its own balance from the capacity begin, and it's is referenced by its address. Capacity can be introduced as a network with an arrangement of numbered cells. Any document that is spared to the capacity gets these cells. The Windows operating system utilizes these two noteworthy file systems that are FAT and generally use NTFS file system. For the memory management, memory management is a method of being in control of moving around the PC's memory by placing different blocks to different apps. And you can increase the general output of the system by doing that. When it comes to the hardware, though, there's different ways to store the data. In the operating system, the memory management allows the user to move around the areas that they want it to be stored in. When it comes to the apps, the memory management is really important because it ensures that all the vital data that's being produced on there is stored for future reference and in the correct blocks that you want them to be in. Um, so for the network software, the network software is a base to every network. It assists management to watch over the network, therefore making it easier to troubleshoot. The special software gives ITs the special inside information you need for the technical side of that stuff. It's really important because it's what ensures the networks that like that they're running correctly and to their full ability. The user is not able to see the same information that the management sees on the admin side, which is pretty typical. The network software offers the options that have many devices connected to one another, as well as many different networks. Device drivers is an app that allows users to be in charge of a specific device that happens to be connected to the PC. There are multiple types that range from uses such as printing. Um, some Windows apps are considered to have virtual drivers. So for the memory management techniques, every process on the 32-bit Windows has a very unique address space that's given up to 4 gigabytes of memory. Every single one of the threads of a process are able to get a virtual address space. All threads of a process can access its virtual space address space. However, threads cannot access memory that belongs to another process, which protects the process from being corrupted by another process. Um, for the support for multitasking, multitasking operating system splits up the processing time across the ones that are in need of it. This gives the processor a lot of time to slice. It gives it a time processor a slice to every thread that is involved with it. When the time slice happens, then the current working thread is froze over, which then gives the different thread the option to run. Whenever they switch, they make sure to save all information for the next use, so you don't lose any information when they switch over. Um, so basically, for the security features, DEP simply just makes it harder for code to be run in the memory locations. ASLR makes it harder for attackers to find critical components of the process, including the program stack and heap. The UAC um, basically is a user account control that is a security feature that was introduced in the Windows Vista to limit the administrative privileges only to authorized users. This is really useful because it prevents malicious files from executing actions with administrative privileges. Um, DNSSEC basically it helps with making sure that it's original authentication of the data, helps with authentication and data integrity. The support for the file management operations. The file system keeps track of the names and location of the files, the NTFS and the FAT32s. Deleting a file changes the status of the file's clusters to empty and removes the file's name from the index file. This means the file's data is still there. The file shredder software overwrites empty sectors with random ones and twos. The files in the Windows recycle bin and similar utilities can be undeleted, which is really key. Fragment files are stored in non-contiguous clusters and decrease performance. Defragmentation utilities are rearrange files so that they are stored in contiguously. Ways to update and patch Windows. It's a great idea to get used to constantly updating your Windows operating system on a day-to-day basis, if it's possible, with the most modern security patches. By doing this, you'll ensure that your user's PC doesn't become the same duck with weak and outdate patches. Basically, just open up the Windows update thing, click start in the left corner, type update, get the results, check for the updates, install them, type the passwords in. And it's really key to not shut down your computer or to not run out of battery while doing that, because it does take up a lot of the PC's battery to do that. With Windows and Linux, I mean, Windows and Linux are both operating systems that have many different types of benefits for all different types of users, but there's also many downsides as well. Each type has a different type of market that they're interested in being in. And for the most part, they're user friendly across the board. Cost wise, Linux can be freely distributed, downloaded freely, distributed through magazines, books, and all that. The price versions for Linux also are normally cheaper than Windows. Um, Windows can be from 120 to 200, and Linux is free, so for the most part. Usage Linux can be installed on a wide variety of computer hardware, ranging from mobile phones, tablets, computers, reading consoles, just about anything. The mainframes and supercomputers. Windows can only be on PCs, desktops, laptop servers, and some phones. For the file management, Linux has way more options. They have ext2, 3, 4, JFs, XFS, FAT, FA32, just like Windows. Windows has FAT, FAT32, and TFS and EX FAT. For the source model, Windows is closed and it's a shared source, and Linux is a free software, which a lot of people do like. For the market, Linux is more for server and personal. Windows is more personal and business driven. Overall, Windows is a highly recommended operating system for any type of business or organization. There are many different types of interactive components that are offered by Windows that could be benefit that can really benefit virtual media. The underlying components of Windows um, is that you just have the ultimate control over everything you're doing. With Windows multitasking options, it betters the experience for the users to complete more tasks at hand. Windows used to slack when it came to security features, but now with the new and improved security features, virtual media can sleep easy, knowing that they'll be protected by some of the most modern security methods Windows has ever offered. Um, Windows file system gives the user many options to store data and find it easy to find the blocks where they're stored. Windows also makes it extremely easy to be able to constantly update and patch the operating system, and therefore making it even safer than ever. Compared to tons of different security features, it also has the most advanced file systems when it comes to operating systems.